Today, welcome to this recording discussing Robex Scheduler. Robex Scheduler is a tool used to help plan, schedule manufacturing events. It takes the form of a Gantt chart like this one. This is a very simple case. It can be used in discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, and product manufacturing. Today we're gonna go through how to set up a case like this one or a more complex case like this one, which we're gonna show at the end. Just let me make sure that it's working here for us. Let me solve that. In the end is going to look something like this, where you have multiple, these are resources, these are operations, and this is a bar chart of different variables such as inventory, for example, using the different labors, availability, and resources like inventory. These are operations, and you can see some operations need to finish before the others start. We can see we have here free time between these two operations on this machine. So today we're gonna see how to create this kind of plan with using Robex. So in the beginning we need to enter a calendar. So let's start from scratch. So to start with, we have to set a calendar. So a general calendar, we give it a name such as work week. In this calendar, we have to set a week calendar. So a week calendar is here, and we say that this is a work week. We have to determine this work week what is going to look like. So in our case we have Friday and Saturday off, and this looks like a good parameter from 7 to 3 o'clock, and we set it to start on January. It can start from today, but this will give us a year past of operations. We can look and plan a year before, so we can have some historical data, and we can call it again work week. We can also set a holiday calendar. So now we have the week calendar set. We can set the holiday calendar. In the holiday calendar we call it weekend, for example, weekend. And we do the same thing where we set the week to be Saturday and Friday, and we set it back far back, just a little farther, so that we can plan a little bit behind today's date. And we don't need to enter any days here because it's a 24-hour set. It's set for 24 hours. Then once we set the resources, we set the calendar, we can set the resources, and we can set the resource group, for example operators, because we have multiple types of operators. And then we can set machines as resources as well. So we're gonna call let's say pasteurizing. And we have to set the calendar for the resource. This is why we set the calendars, so that we can set a calendar for each resource and set its work time. Most of these parameters can be left as default for now. We can change different things such as the capacity of this resource, so units per hour, for example. We can set this efficiency rate if we have less working lower than 100% capacity efficiency, and other variables as well, but we're gonna keep it simple now. And then this is how we add other resources as well. So you can see here in the back end we have two resources, the operator, and let's give this resource a name as well. Let's call it pasteurizing operator. and we didn't set a calendar for this resource. You can see here the calendar is not showing, so we have to give it a calendar so that we can start using it. So we give it the work week. This way we can see these blanks are the work hours and the grayed area are the time off. So it's the time that the machines are not working and the workers are not working. This big gray gap here is the weekend, Friday and Saturday. So now once we have the resources on the calendar set up, we have to set up materials. So let's say here for this case, we have raw milk coming in. Sorry, we have to put it the second column, the second field, and material number. Let's call it R1 for raw material, and this is in cubic. And then we have, let's say, well, this is it, raw milk, and then what comes out is the pasteurized milk. So we call it pasteurized milk. And I did the same mistake here. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired today, so bear with me. So this is going to be, let's say, semi-finished one, and this will be cubic. Change the units. We'll look at these parameters that we can change. So let's put it as liters, and we said pasteurized milk is semi-finished product. So you can see here we can decide if it's raw material or finished product or semi-finished product. We just have one process here. If we have more processes, then we will account with the raw material or the semi-finished products or finished products that come out of the machines here, and we're gonna look into operations next. So now we have the raw material set up, and the kind of the bill of material, if we might say, all the products that go into the production and end up being work in process, and how it finishes in the end as finished products. So now once we have the calendar, resources, and material set up, we have to set up the operations and then the route of production. So here we only have, let's call it pasteurizing operation. And we can edit the resources here. We have to decide on the capacity here. So let's say the capacity here is 20 liters per hour, and then we all these details are to dig deeper. If you want to dig deeper into them, they can be found in the documentation. And if you have any questions, concerns, you can contact us or the support team of Robex, and they'll be more than glad to help you. And then we have here the important thing to change as well. One of the basics is to put in the parameters for the materials. So here we have raw material coming in and the pasteurized milk coming out. It's a liter, so this is going to be produced and this is going to be consumed, and let's keep it simple. One going in, 1 liter going in, 1 liter going out, and that's it. We have R1 and produced to be finished one, which is pasteurized milk, which can later go into being full low fat or full fat milk, and that's it. So then we can set the production. Let's say we're gonna order, for example, 1000 units of oh, we forgot to do the route. So before we create an order, we have to create a route, and a route is a production line. So let's say it's a pasteurized route, and this is a route to produce pasteurized milk. So we're gonna just put the pasteurized operation, and we can set the workload, or actually the capacity, to 20 units per hour. And if we have setup time, we set up setup time. Usually it's more than one operation, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like in the end. This is one route which is going to produce pasteurized milk from the pasteurize operation. So now we can create an order from this icon here, and we create let's say 1000 liters using the pass route, and all others as default for now. Oops, sorry. 1000, and we chose the route. Okay, let me troubleshoot this quickly. So now that we have all the basic parameters and variables set in the system, I'm going to show you what it looks like in an actual case. So this is a very simple case, very similar to the one we're doing, where we end up, we created an order. So let me just delete this order here. I cannot delete the order unless it's cancelled. Cancel it and delete it. And then I'm gonna create a new order. Again, we're gonna put 1000 here, and we'll choose there's only one route here, and we see here the route has operations and sub operations. We created sub operations for the operators so that they can be linked with the operation. We can create different sub operations for tools and operators needed to run the operation. Once we create the operation, we need to set it as planned. So again, schedule is a planning tool, and it's important to plan things ahead of time so that we don't run into problems with inventory. I'm gonna show you, this is a simple case here. It can get more complicated. This is only one production line, but if we have multiple production lines, then it's gonna be a little bit more complex. Let me bring that. So we see here this is a more complicated case. Again, these are all XML files. All the data and the system are saved as XML files, and this is the format it uses to communicate in these with different plans. And we can define different groups for the operations. So for example, by project, here the products is grouping, and this is apple juice group. So these produce apple juice. This produces one type of milk, M milk, pasteurized M, and this is B milk, and this is green is for orange juice, and blue and yellow is for different types of milk. So if you look at the orange juice, for example, and we click on this tab that we created here from new material view and new material graph. So we have this view with these different parameters here. These are the raw material and semi-finished product and finished products that are related to juice. So in this situation we have let's first organize this so that things are more in order, so we can create a rescheduling of the operation. We see here that this mix orange is the first operation, and then it's this one, and then it's this one. So if we scroll a little bit to the right, we can see here that the orange juice we have negative, so this means that we didn't have any previous. So we can change the colors here to material shortage. It's gonna tell us that we've had shortages in this material, and we should have shortages in this material as well. As we see here, apparently we have inventory of this for this particular process, but we don't have inventory for the other process. And this is how we can tell what is missing and what is not missing. So we can group by projects, we can group by material shortages. Everything in green is good to go. Everything in red means you don't have inventory to run that operation, so you can plan ahead of time for that. And the white ones, I believe they're not planned for yet, so they have not started, so we don't look into them. They're just static for the time being, only planned. or so this one is only plant, and these are different functionalities that we have in the system. I'm gonna show you in the next video how to import and export the Excel files so that you can have the setup done for you in a different way. Thank you for watching.